Ravens are going to have an uphill climb on Sunday, going against two of the league's best in the Patriots and the Lions. Steelers on the road against the Lions, and the Ravens at home against the Patriots, who just lost for the first time in 10 games against the Bills. Steelers right now on top of the AFC North. They have a 64% chance to make the postseason. The Ravens, on the other hand, on the outside of the playoff picture, and they'll have just a 23% chance to reach the playoffs with an L this weekend. Which AFC North team do we have more faith in to get it done this weekend? Pittsburgh or Baltimore? We're going to go around the horn here.
I believe both have an uphill battle, and even as a Steelers fan and a former Steeler, I have more faith in the Ravens. I think where these games are being played matters. I think the ability to run the football against the New England Patriots matters, and I don't believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers in Detroit, in that dome, will have what it takes defensively to go win that game. So I have to pick the Ravens in this.
Yeah, I'm with the Ravens, too. This is about matchups for me. I just think that Detroit Lions offense is a terrible matchup for Pittsburgh. We just watched the Steelers defense stop Miami in cold weather. That's great. The Lions run game is more similar, I would say, in some ways to what the Bills were able to do in terms of imposing their will. Think about all those Lions skill players and how good they are blocking, and then remember the Steelers DBs getting thrown off the ball but against Buffalo. Whereas when I look at New England versus Baltimore, I share a lot of Ryan's sentiments. The running game in Baltimore, I think, is starting to come alive a little bit. And the run defense in New England has gone way downhill over the last few weeks.
Do you think Patriots are going to lose 2 in a row?
It's not about them losing. You ask a question who I had more faith.
Yeah, I think they got a better shot.
Yeah, exactly. For that reason, that's why I have some trepidation about the Ravens, but they'd still be my answer to this question because I like them better at home than Pittsburgh on the road in Detroit, especially against that brother Gibbs who is aching to get off. He's always aching.
And he had a tough week last week. The Rams did a really good job.
Can't see that happen to him 2 weeks in a row.
Well, it's Baltimore. But here's my question with Baltimore, too. Like, not only this weekend, can you get out of your own way?
Yeah.
Like, Baltimore has, I agree, the run game has been better, and so that'll matter versus Pittsburgh. But there's also moments where I'm like, God bless, can we catch the football?
Yes.
Can the right guard block someone? Lamar, can you play on time a little bit more consistently? And, like, that's where I'm at this point with Baltimore. They look so odd and so different from what they were last year. And there's why there's a lot of us still hanging on Baltimore because we know what they're capable of if they'll just get out of their own way and stop hurting themselves.
One thing I did find encouraging, it's the Bengals defense, et cetera, Lamar looked better running, I thought, this last week.
He did.
He seems like he is getting more comfortable weeks removed from the hamstring injury. I expect the Patriots to play a decent amount of man coverage, so there will be opportunities for him to scramble.
And I feel like you've seen that as a progression for Lamar. If you go to the second half of the Cincinnati Bengals game and then you watch some of those plays against the Steelers and then last week against the Bengals, he's starting to also, I think, understand that if I don't do this, if I don't add this part or bring back this part of my game, we have absolutely no chance of winning. And I think he's going to have to take on some of what we see Josh at times, where he's like, this has to be all on me.
Yeah, I just think with Baltimore, if they can get rid of a lot of the self-inflicted wounds right now, because there's not teams that can say that.
Right.
Like Pittsburgh's not an offense where I sit there and go, if they can stop
There's
hurting
another level,
Right, like Baltimore, if Baltimore will get more crisp in the pass game, I think both of their guards have to play better. The pass game with Zay and Mark has to become more consistent. Zay drops a ball last week, becomes interception. 5 plays later, makes a diving catch in the end zone. Mark Andrews is as go-to as guy, reaches up, almost another interception off his hand. So it's like, can they stop hurting themselves? If they do, I think I'm encouraged with what they can become, not only winning the division, but in the playoffs.
I'm encouraged with what they can become from the standpoint that if they get to the playoffs, they'll be playing with house money because years and years and years of expectation. What we've seen Baltimore struggling with up and down this year, for them to be in the playoffs.
No, there's no house money.
No. What I mean by that is that to be in a playoff with a one-and-done scenario, I mean, everybody needs to fear them in that regard. Here's the other thing about it, as an aside. If Baltimore wins this game, all of a sudden our eyes are back on the AFC East and how interesting that would be because now you got New England trying to hold on with Buffalo just a game behind them. New England lose this game, things can get very, very interesting. And we're going to find ourselves looking at New England and Josh Allen and Buffalo.
Ravens, this is their last home game of the season. They're on the road the last 2 games, so maybe they can give the fans something to be excited about. Who's more likely to go on a...
There's obviously going to be this time that you have to figure out how to replace him within that game. You've had a week now What are you going to do to get pressure on the quarterback? How are you going to free up one-on-ones if you're Jeff Hafley? This team can still be really, really good. Yeah. And then I think what happens is if they don't win, we say, okay, wait until Tucker Kraft is healthy. Wait until Michael Parsons is back. I believe that becomes the conversation more than us saying to ourselves, well, they didn't win because of.
Yeah.
I'm open to being corrected about this, but no three people to ask this question better than you guys. Ed Policy is running the Packers. We were talking at the beginning of the season. He didn't extend Matt LaFleur and Gutekunst. He's got question marks about them. So this conversation is real because if they show up in the postseason and they don't perform, you understand? I mean, it is not beyond the realms of comprehension that Matt LaFleur is coaching for his job over the next month.
That is, with all due respect, an outrageous.
No, that's not me. No.
I understand the premise of your saying there's no contract.
No. But he said he's on the record.
I understand.
Literally saying, I'm taking a wait and see approach. We talked about this at the beginning.
I understand you're not saying it.
I'm not saying it at all.
It's a tea leaf. You're reading the tea leaf.
I'm saying what I'm saying to you. If you're going to make that statement, then you're looking into the camera and you're saying to the man running the Packers, it's outrageous that he's looking at them and judging them on a case-by-case basis that they could be coaching over the next month for their job. That's what you're saying about Ed Policy.
I'm saying that. That is outrageous. Matt LaFleur is one of the best coaches in football. If the Packers moved on from him to head injuries, who is he? Because there's that 3-year stretch from 2022 to 2024. He's a top 10 quarterback. 2023, he's an MVP candidate. He was playing high-level football. This year, it's fallen off. So why? Why is it falling off so much this year? I think there's a little bit more than just the production also in this decision. And then the second thing is, if you take Tua outside of this Mike McDaniel system that's very specific to Tua and Tua very specific to it, what kind of play are you getting? Can he operate and execute a system that maybe isn't the same as the one Mike McDaniel runs?
Which brings one to the next question, Hawk, which is if he has played his last snap for the Miami Dolphins, will there be a line of suitors out there for Tua Tagovailoa?
I don't know if there'll be like a huge line. I don't think he'll make anything close to what he's making in Miami, but I do think Tua is a better quarterback than some of the options current organizations have, right? So I think there's still a chance for him to start. When I'm looking in Miami, the question is, have we seen the best of Tua? If that answer is yes, is it enough? That answer is no for Miami, and I think the overwhelming opinion is that it hasn't been enough. Even when Mike McDaniel got the job and Tua was the quarterback, the question was, do you continue to move on with Tua? It was, I can get the most out of him as Mike McDaniel, and I think he has. I think Tua's played his best football under the Mike McDaniel system, but is Tua the problem solver, or is he the scheme beneficiary? And if he's the scheme beneficiary, can you get somebody who's a little further along in the development or a little better of a quarterback or opportunity and then get even more on the back end?
When McDaniel's just talking about giving us the best chance to win, as Quinn Ewers, you showed that in practice, regardless of what happens in these last 3 games for the Miami Dolphins, like they're going to draft a quarterback this coming year. So to me, I don't necessarily see the reason to bench Tua, especially if you're playing the long game when it comes to leverage. Like if I'm trying, this guy has a massive cap hit. I think it's like $99 million in the next 2 years. If his cap hit is that big, but you need to move on, you understand that. I think a lot of the world does, but there's 32 teams. Maybe 1 or 2 don't, and they're willing to take a chance on him, have a guy come in under him and learn. You're kind of losing that leverage now when this doesn't matter. You're out of the playoffs. Like your season's done in 3 weeks.
And how about the future in Miami? I mean, is Mike McDaniel the future in Miami?
I have no clue. So when the GM goes out in the middle of the year and all the chaos is kind of happening around Miami, whether it's press conferences going on, you hear the players talking about other players, you see Tua answer stuff, you see Mike McDaniels. Is he the right guy for the culture there? So when the GM goes, it's like, all right, the target, they're going to zero in somewhere. Is it Mike McDaniels? That was kind of the feeling, but I don't see a team that quit on Mike McDaniels when they went on that 5-game win streak. Now you have Mike McDaniels sitting at the podium saying, we need conviction at the quarterback spot. So I would be curious with Dan. It's like, from what you see from the quarterback play, when a head coach goes out there and says, I need more conviction from the QB spot, like what